Mint Mobile is changing the cell phone game, offering plans for as low as $15 per month on America's largest 5G network, which travels as long as a Trey Lance deep ball to Brandon Ayuk. Start saving money today by heading to mintmobile.com/chatsports. We'll tell you more about today's presenting sponsor coming up in a few moments. So this is, of course, the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Want to start today's show with this, and news came out earlier this morning, and we found out last night that a Deshaun Watson suspension was going to be announced this morning, and it officially came down, going to be 6 games. And how does this impact Jimmy Garoppolo? And now, with Watson's suspension set, does Garoppolo get traded to the Cleveland Browns? Why it could happen, why it might not happen, all coming your way on the show, as well as Deebo Samuel's contract. So Adam Schefter breaking the news, saying this: former federal judge Sue Robinson has found that Deshaun Watson violated the personal conduct policy. He's been suspended 6 games. Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, adding on top of that, saying this: so the discipline for Browns quarterback Watson pending a possible NFL appeal. A little bit of a wrinkle in there. We'll see if that ends up happening. Going to be a 6-game suspension. No additional fine from Sue Robinson. The decision also requires no massages other than directed by club personnel and no adverse involvement with no law enforcement. So that is the latest with Deshaun Watson. And as we've been talking about for a long time, Jimmy Garoppolo, the trade market for him, could he get sent to the Cleveland Browns? It all came down to what that suspension would be. So when you look at the Browns' backup quarterback situation, it's Jacoby Brissett, it's Josh Dobbs. Cleveland has the most cap space in the NFL, with Garoppolo's base salary at $24 million plus, and then his salary cap hit of $26.9 million. So coming up right around the corner, we'll take a look at how this might impact a Garoppolo trade. First, though, want to get your thoughts into the comment section on this suspension. Did you think it was justified? M for more games, L for less games. Let me know. I certainly value your responses. My one big question when it comes down to Garoppolo and Cleveland: do the Browns think that they can survive 6 games in a loaded AFC and in a very competitive division with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Still a question mark, but under Mike Tomlin, they've won a bunch of games since his regime started. If the answer is no to that previous question, that the Browns don't have confidence that they can survive this 6-game slate without Deshaun Watson, here's why Garoppolo makes sense. He's coming along well in his rehab, seen at 49ers training camp throwing balls between 30 and 50 yards. He's won 71% of his starts. So that caters to the Browns' strengths of how they've constructed this roster, but also them having an opportunity to win right now in the immediacy of the moment. From a football perspective, it's a very good scheme fit. Kevin Stefanski's offense, power run game, very similar to what Kyle Shanahan likes to do with his power run game on the outside zone scheme. And then lastly, financially, Browns have nearly $49 million in cap space. They are currently the only team in the NFL who can absorb Garoppolo's contract without a restructure. Now, Jacoby Brissett does have a lot of experience as a starting quarterback. He started 5 games last year, a couple years ago with the Indianapolis Colts. Also saw a lot of action as a fill-in starter. Last year, 62% completion percentage. Threw for more than 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 games. Only 5 games started, though. So the sample size, a little bit smaller. How about a larger sample size? Going back to 2019, when he actually did some nice things with the Indianapolis Colts, 61% of his completions he was able to knock down. And then he threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So Jacoby Brissett, he's solid for a game or two. He certainly has his pitfalls, doesn't have many strengths. If he can be a game manager on a team that plays good defense, likes to run the football, has some pretty good offensive weapons, maybe the Browns can keep their heads above water. And they do have a favorable schedule to begin the 2022 slate. Week 1 at Carolina, winnable game. Week 2 at home against the New York Jets for their home opener. That too, a winnable game. Short week against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 3. It's going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out type of brawl because it's the AFC North and this is a great rivalry game. Another winnable matchup on the road against the Atlanta Falcons with quarterback questions there. Week 5 at home against the Chargers, difficult because Justin Herbert, bona fide MVP candidate, and then another tough one. Week 6 against the New England Patriots. So if you escape that 6-game slate, let's say 3-3, which is totally doable, and I think the Browns can do it with Jacoby Brissett, then trading for Garoppolo doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's how that impacts the Garoppolo situation. So many factors at stake. Now, coming up next, how Garoppolo is doing in his rehab. I mentioned a little bit earlier about his recovery process. We'll take a further look at his recovery process. That's coming up next on the 49ers Report, as well as the latest on Deebo Samuel. First, though, 49ers Report sponsored by Mint Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Cell phone plans starting as low as $15 per month. Unlimited talk and text. The services are as great as Deebo Samuel's service to this 49ers offense. Like Deebo, running the football, catching it, Mint Mobile is able to do all of that for you and more on America's largest 5G network. High-speed data, mobile hotspot. Most importantly, though, during a time when a lot of people are trying to save money, Mint Mobile allows you to do that. You may have heard of them before. It's a cell phone company owned by the famous actor Ryan Reynolds, so you can start saving money today without getting a new phone. MintMobile.com/chatsports. Link is available in the comment section and the description of this video. As for the Garoppolo health front, he was present at practice with many fans on hand on Saturday. And as far as his recovery is going, continues to come along really well. Now, I think that Rappaport report about Garoppolo not being a full participant until about mid-August, that's a firm timeline because it's already August 1. And as of right now, he's dropping back. He's throwing some 30-yard passes on a line. On Saturday, he was seen ramping up to 50 yards, and he's en route to being fully healthy. And if the recovery continues to come along well, what can Garoppolo fetch back in a trade, either from the Cleveland Browns or another team in the NFL who might suffer an injury at the quarterback position, or their respective quarterbacks might play subpar football? Now, the Garoppolo trade market is not what it was following the NFC Championship game before the shoulder surgery. The shoulder injury, as well as the quarterback movement, it shook up and impacted the Garoppolo trade market. But can you get back what Carson Wentz got back in that acquisition between the Colts and the Washington Commanders? Colts received second-round pick, third-round pick, and a 2023 pick for Wentz in exchange for a second and seventh-round pick. As for the Matt Ryan deal, maybe Garoppolo can get back something similar. Now, Matt Ryan is a former MVP, but if a team gets desperate, are they willing to fork over a third-round pick? Like, what was the compensation for that Matt Ryan trade? Obviously, he's the better quarterback, but Garoppolo wins as much, if not more, than Matt Ryan. If all this training camp football has you fired up, all this talk, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Look, over the last couple of days, whether I'm at home, on the golf course, in the studio, anytime I see a bit of big 49ers news, I'm like, yo, I got to hop on the mic, got to get another 49ers Report show done because this is absolutely awesome that we're talking about real football. So hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. What I just alluded to, no matter where I am, and no matter where you are, we're pushing out the best 49ers content. This is why you subscribe to the channel. Deshaun Watson news comes out. How does it impact San Francisco and Jimmy G? We got to talk about that because, hey, if you're a fan of this football team, we're going to talk about everything pertaining to San Francisco, in addition to breaking news, analysis, the latest news and rumors, free daily videos, and with the season around the corner, preseason football starting, we're going to be doing watch parties as well. You're also involved in helping the faithful family grow here at Chat Sports. Let's get to 100,000 subs by the end of the season. I'm always hopeful and confident. Hit that red sub button. Deebo Samuel got paid on Sunday night. It finally happened. Him and San Francisco agreeing to a 3-year contract extension, which will have him in a 49ers uniform until about 29 years old. As for the specifics for the Deebo Samuel contract, here it is. 3 years, $71.5 million in total money, $58 million in guaranteed bread, average annual value less than $24 million. Because of that, I think this Deebo Samuel contract is very favorable for San Francisco considering what he brings to the table and how his average annual value salary stacks up with some other wide receivers in the NFL. Tyreek Hill, $30 million per year. This is the list of the top 10 guys now with Deebo in the mix, and we've talked about some of these players before. Finally, Deebo is a part of this equation. So you see the numbers on the screen here. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, all ahead of Deebo Samuel in terms of average annual salary, but he does get paid more than Terry McLaurin at $23+ million and DJ Moore at $20+ million. And I said this last night during our breaking news segment. I really think that this Deebo Samuel contract with San Francisco is favorable for him because he's able to once again cash in his late 20s if he wants to get another new contract if the production continues. And for San Francisco, I like it a lot from a financial perspective as well as a team-building perspective. You keep your lethal weapon happy, and for him to be a part of this offense with Trey Lance going into his first year as a starter at 22 years old, you hand the ball off to Deebo, you pass it to him. He is a multi-dimensional threat, and last year in 2021, he burst onto the scene as one of the most valuable offensive playmakers in the National Football League. So to have that guy on your football team who's one of one, it helps you in this win-now mode and also aids and takes pressure off your young quarterback. From a business perspective, I think I like it because it's a short-term deal and you get long-term financial security because you're not giving them a 5-6 year deal with a lot of guaranteed money on the back end. And once again, going back to the overall football perspective, you look at some of the other weapons who are getting paid big-time money at the wide receiver position. They might be better pure wide receivers, better pure pass catchers, and better pure route runners. But Deebo Samuel is as valuable, if not more valuable, to this team and this offense, and the scheme fit is so seamless that that contract is actually a bargain and great value at the end of the day. Because Tyreek Hill, somewhat of a one-trick pony. He's a vertical guy. Deebo Samuel, on the other hand, can impact games in a variety of ways. Now, when that news was made official, what did you think of it when Deebo Samuel inked that deal? Let me know in the comments section. Later on today, as long as there's no crazy news, crazy trade, probably going to do a 49ers winners and losers segment from training camp up to this point. Stay tuned for that. But first, your one-word reaction to the contract was and is. And don't forget to subscribe for the best 49ers content during training camp.